Hey folks, Terry Hurd here, your host of Into the Blue. Inviting you to join us right here this week for the music of Don Rigsby, Mike Compton, the Boxcars, Balsam Range, Frank Sullivan, Rebecca Frazier, and many, many more. And we want to keep you up to date on all things going on in bluegrass music, so text the word bluegrass to 22828, and we'll email you the daily bluegrass buzz each and every day, absolutely free. Then join us right here for all the great music on Into the Blue.
Saturday at 9 a.m., Sunday at 8 a.m. on NewsTalk 1000.
If credit card processing is important to your business, I can help. I'm Ramonda Davis of First National Bank, and I'm your local e-commerce officer for merchant card and other electronic business products. Local means I live in Central Virginia. I'm ready to come see you and respond quickly to what you need. Local means I'm focused just on your business needs. For the latest in electronic payment technology and competitive pricing, contact me, Ramonda Davis. First National Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
News Talk 1000 WKDE Altavista. News, weather, sports, and information all day long.
Good morning. I'm Megan Lucas, Economic Development Director for Altavista, Virginia, and host of It's Your Business, the area's new and only talk show on topics such as economic development, urban growth, business expansion, real estate development, and much, much more. If you work in the Altavista, Central Virginia economy, or if you care at all about the local communities, you'll love the fascinating topics and guests on It's Your Business. Tune in every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. right here on News Talk 1000 WKDE. As the community grows, it's becoming more and more cosmopolitan. The transformation from good community to great community sure makes for a lot of exciting talk. It's Your Business will explore exciting topics related to Altavista and the Metro's future development. First National Bank, Altavista, and Lynchburg's premier commercial bank is the proud sponsor of It's Your Business, and we're pleased to have them on board and, more importantly, in our communities. Thank you, First National Bank. Custom banking since 1908. You can check them out online at www.1stnatbk.com, and that stands for First National Bank. So be sure and thank them for being a part of our communities. We're really excited and proud to have them as the sponsor of It's Your Business. It's my pleasure to introduce my guest this morning to Jeremy Satterfield. Jeremy is the Business Development Manager for Mid-Atlantic Broadband. Mid-Atlantic Broadband Communities Corporation creates connections between technology and people to revitalize communities in Southern Virginia. By delivering high-speed broadband access across underserved communities, MBC opens doors for businesses to locate operations across Southern Virginia with confidence they have reliable broadband access at any capacity level. MBC operates an open access network that enables businesses to work with the communication provider of their choice to secure diverse network access. As a nonprofit entity, MBC reinvests in community programs that support the primary mission of creating jobs by attracting new businesses to the region. Jeremy, that was a mouthful. Good morning.
And good morning. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, you're welcome. So, Mid-Atlantic Broadband, you bring high-speed internet to communities, specifically Southern Virginia.
Specifically Southern Virginia. Yes, we're defined. We actually have to keep our regional network defined as the Virginia Tobacco Commission, so all across Southside Virginia. So basically Patrick County on over to Surrey County.
So why just the tobacco footprint?
Well, we were actually started with tobacco identification funds.
Okay.
So that keeps us we've got to keep that as our primary focus.
Well, I think that's great. Now, Altavista is in the tobacco footprint. So
as it is.
We benefit from the services offered by Mid-Atlantic.
It most certainly does.
We have broadband in Altavista.
You do.
And why is it critical? Why is it critical for communities? Of course, all of us like the internet. We use it. And when you move from a very urban community, you forget that there are rural parts of the country, and in this instance, Virginia, who don't have that immediate access.
Sure.
So I've moved from Nebraska to here, and I'm grateful that NBC is here and providing that access to our community. And it's made a difference personally, but it also makes a significant difference professionally.
It does. For the business side of things, you got to think about what was prevalent 10 years ago as far as broadband. Those capabilities are out of the windows now.
Yeah.
Think about all the devices that you use in your daily use, Megan. Everything that you've got from the computer to the phone to the tablet, everything else, all of that stuff is eating into the bandwidth.
Yeah.
And broadband is here to stay, and you're going to need more and more and more of it every year. Your printers work off of it, your laptops, your cell phones, your tablets, your scanners, camcorders, cameras, everything. And all of that is going to eat down into it.
So let's do Broadband 101.
Okay.
What is broadband?
Broadband is the actual access, is the actual fiber that is in the ground that creates a high-speed connection between us, the middle mile infrastructure guys, and the telecommunication providers that are in the area.
So when I read on your intro about that a business can choose any provider.
They can.
And how do they even know? Do the businesses know that you're involved, or do the businesses just go to a provider?
It happens both ways, to be quite honest with you. Sometimes we have businesses that contact us directly and want to go ahead and put it out there for quote, and then sometimes we have actual telecommunication providers that'll bring us to somebody. It's a tag-along deal, but they'll actually walk it down the street to us and go, hey, by the way, business down here, down the road, XYZ, they need to look at service. So it happens from both directions.
Is the business concept for Mid-Atlantic Broadband, is that unique?
It's very unique.
And how so?
I tell you, we are the most unique business model I've ever seen in my life. We are actually a 501c4 not-for-profit corporation. We were started back in 2003, 2004, and I'll give you a little history about it. We were actually started in 2003. We got our incorporation from the state of Virginia. Before that, it was the late 1990s, early 2000s. We had regional economic development groups, like yourself, and key political figures from Southern Virginia that were looking at things, and they realized that the textiles, the manufacturing, and the tobacco were pretty much all but gone. So what they really needed to do was decide, hey, what in the world is going to keep and retain and attract jobs into the region, especially the Southside region.
Sure.
So we actually went out and we talked to different groups that had been looking to come into Southern Virginia. Some of them made that transition and came, some of them did not, but we queried them all. And what we found out was the same things that are still prevalent today. Wide range of real estate inventory, great tax incentives, plenty of land, greenfield, brownfield, all these different sites that you can go. The skilled workforce was there and ready and willing to go to work. But the telecommunication costs were absorbent, to say the least. You're talking 7 to 10 times that of what they were paying in Richmond and Northern Virginia. Well, of course, they could not afford to come this direction. Okay. So, there it was. That's how NBC got its mark, and that's how we got started.
So when you got started, and so, I fast forward to 9 months ago when I started, and you and I met. You've given me a map of where all the broadband is in Altavista. How did you get to that point? How did Mid-Atlantic say, okay, we're Johnny Appleseed here. We're just gonna start sprinkling broadband. How did you decide? I mean, you knew because you had the affiliation with tobacco, so you knew the communities.
We did.
But talk to me about that process of getting the broadband accessible in those communities, and how you decided the routes or the maps or where it goes.
It was actually pretty easy. And the only reason I say that, I don't mean to dumb things down,
sure.
but it was pretty easy because what you look at is you've got the 360 and the 58 corridors that are prevalent. You've also got the 29 corridors. So we actually decided we're going to build out our first network, the first regional network that we've got. It's going to be 600 individual miles. So we went ahead and laid out 58. Laid out pieces of 360 and pieces of 29 and 501, and it just kind of, it took shape from that form, and it has grown since then. And like you said, when it first got started, we're talking about 600 miles. We now eclipsed the 1,600-mile mark now, and we've got fiber all throughout Southern Virginia.
And so just because Altavista has the fiber backbone that you put in place doesn't mean that I can't request more fiber.
No, absolutely not. I mean, you definitely could.
Yeah.
Like I said, we've got fiber that's in place. We do realize that there are some places that still don't have the fiber there. And to be quite honest, there's probably still going to be some places that may not have fiber for another 10 to 15 years.
Yeah.
It's just dependent upon the need. But like I said, you can always request to have new fiber built, and then if it deems eligible, then we can do it.
So, for example, if I have an industry coming into if we're recruiting an industry to Altavista, and that industry picks a piece of property that isn't already on the broadband network, then we just work with you. We bring you in a part of the team, and we say we need to, what will it cost us to bring broadband from point A to point B?
Absolutely. That's all it is a phone call away. It's an email away. You know that we're going to come in and work with you.
Which is
anything,
great.
anything that comes in where it's talking about expansion of business into localities, we're all about it. There's nothing that we're not going to do in that regard.
Well, what's been the biggest challenge for Mid-Atlantic Broadband as you got started?
I tell you, for me personally, it's been, because I've just come on board, only been on for a little over 2 years now, and I think the biggest thing is, I left my old job in South Boston, which is where we're out of, and told everybody that I was going to go take a job with Mid-Atlantic Broadband, and they asked me when I was going to start packing. And that hurts because we're corporate out of South Boston. We own this global company, and our folks in our own backyard don't even know it. So that's been the hardest part, is just basically getting the who is NBC and what does NBC do out,
and what you bring to the table.
telling that story, and we've still got to tell that story to quite a few more people, but we're trying.
How about this model? Do you encounter other models like this throughout the country?
No.
Or do you have people coming to you saying, okay, help us understand, because my parents, I'm born and raised in Missouri. My parents are in rural Missouri, and it's just recently she got, I don't know the name of the company. It's not JetBlue, but it's Bluebird or somehow, but she now has high-speed internet. But
satellite based.
Yeah, it's right. It's satellite based.
Wild Blue.
And Wild Blue, thank you. I knew it had blue in it, but for rural Missouri and rural communities, I would think that you've established a really great model. Of course, not all of them have the tobacco the tobacco group to help us to seed organizations like yours, but I would think you've got a great story that other states would start reaching out to say, hey, explain this to us.
It's amazing because like I said, we were started with tobacco identification funds as well as the U.S. Department of Commerce. We were started with those two groups in mind, so the seed money was there. We've been able to take it and run with it and expand it the way that we want to do it, in the right way, to be quite honest with you. We are still heavily relegated to those two funds, which is fine because it's a checks and balances system, and we want to make sure that we stay in play. But we have built it out, like I said, in excess of 1,600 miles now, and we actually do have groups from all across the country. There's a group, I won't call any names, out of Chicago area that has actually come to me on numerous occasions, face-to-face, person-to-person, and talk about, say, how did you guys approach this? How did you guys do that? And as far as these grant projects are concerned, we're still considered to be the poster child of the correct way to do things.
Yeah, I think that's phenomenal, and for the tobacco footprint, it's very forward thinking, and it's out of the whatever phrase you want, out of the box, or at the end of the spoon, whatever. It's a great concept, and it's I think so smart, and it seems to be very successful. It has been.
Well, we like to think so. Of course, that's a biased thinking on my part, but we do want to say that the whole reason that MBC was started, or Mid-Atlantic Broadband Communities Corporation, MBC, sorry, the whole reason we were started was to be an economic driver for this region. Our whole purpose is to help. Would bring those jobs and keep those jobs here in Southern Virginia, and we knew that without a telecommunications presence, there was no way that was going to happen.
Yeah, without a telecommunications presence, what happens is even is advanced manufacturing, or manufacturing that's lower down on the scale. That's what you would get, and those are lower paying jobs. Everybody needs high-speed broadband.
Absolutely.
Banking. Yep. For banking, for HR purposes, you have companies, even in Altavista, who corporate offices access accounts and do things remotely, and to do any kind of business remotely, you have to have the broadband network.
You do. You've got to be connected. The banking is a biggie. Like I said, they have a lot of latency issues that they have to deal with. Healthcare has become and it's going to be. It's going to get larger and larger and larger, and that's going to be. You got some different groups that are purchasing the smaller community-owned hospitals that are going on now, and of course, with that coming in mind, they want to tie back into their affiliates. So that's going to become a big one. Electronic medical record, that's going to become a big one.
That's a growing field. I'm just reading an article about how the electronic medical records, the data centers needed to support those.
Oh, yes.
Is really, for a sector, the medical industry has been behind as far as utilization of technology, and I would say they're on the upswing. And so from an economic development standpoint, that's something that I'm seeing, reading more and more about. Are you starting to hear more about that and see more opportunities out there?
We've seen a whole lot more going on with that the last 2 years. EMR has been big. I guess you could say big on the healthcare side of things for a while, but from the IT side of things, probably not for the last couple of years. So, but you're going to see it get bigger. It's going to become a bigger tradition. I'm sorry, not a tradition, but a bigger focus for each of these organizations. And it's not going to stop, because from there it moves to just the records. Then it turns into the actual caseloads where you have MRIs, X-rays. All of those are going to be accompanying reports. So it's only going to get larger.
Bandwidth.
Absolutely, and it eats it really quick.
If the NSA can keep track of all of our phone calls and our emails, it should, we should be right on track soon for all of our medical records. And
absolutely,
the security will be the big issue. But I've gotten us off track. What's a gigapark?
Gigapark is actually, it was something that we coined in a marketing initiative back in 2009. We looked around this Southern Virginia, and we saw these 60 business parks, and we realized that you were out there jumping up and down, celebrating yours, and the guy right down the road was doing the same, and the guy up north was doing the same. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to collectively market all 60 of those parks as gigaparks. We had the luxury of going around the North America, to be quite honest with you, to market all these gigaparks. We get in front of site consultants, and we get in front of industries that are looking at moving or relocating or expanding their businesses, and we're able to go out there and stand on a platform and say, I don't have 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 spots for you to look at. I've got over 60.
Right.
And they all come with, the infrastructure already in place in some of these. Some of these are greenfield sites, if that's what you're looking for. It just depends on, finding the right customer.
But the giga refers to the broadband, right?
Absolutely.
And that's the great thing.
The uniqueness about it. The fiber network is actually either in or adjacent to all of these parks, which means that we can readily hand that off and have that running throughout the park, and folks could be up and running within a very short amount of time. So the Gigapark is something, and we actually just recently expanded it into the southwest portion of the state of Virginia. So we're actually boasting it now to where it's 100, or it'll be closer to 100 parks that we're able to highlight. And once again, that goes back to the primary driver of Mid-Atlantic Broadband is to be an economic driver for the region, and we want to do our part.
So you all. I know you and we work together professionally. I'm the economic developer, and you from the service provider. But how do you go out to conferences and you go out to expos. What sorts of events do you go to? Is it strictly broadband basis, or do you go to sector?
No, we go to it's a wide range of sector. We do a lot with the Chamber of Commerce events. I do a lot of business development events, do a lot of technology courses, a lot of the economic development things. Basically anything that we can see, educational, healthcare, any realm that we could potentially have an impact, a positive impact, we want to be a part of. Which actually goes to talk about is just last week I was here in Altavista to deliver a check to the local YMCA here. We were actually able to, once again, second year in a row, sponsor the 18 local YMCAs, Boys and Girls Clubs, and Head Start programs across Southern Virginia.
That is fantastic.
We're very honored to do so. We know the impact that they have on their communities. We do know that they're working with a tightening budget, so we want to be able to help to make sure that they're able to do the things that they're used to been doing.
Yeah, and of course, I'm bragging a little bit. Altavista has what I think is the greatest YMCA in the world, and Steve Jester and his team do a fabulous job down there. So thanks for supporting them, and we certainly appreciate that. And it's great that you can do that. It's great that you recognize the communities and you give back, and that the corporate philanthropy, I think a lot of times certainly goes unrecognized at a national level, but at a regional level and at local level, we certainly appreciate what you all do in that commitment. And like I said, the Y is one of the crown jewels of Altavista, and we're certainly thrilled about it and thrilled it's here. Why did in the beginning you started as a not-for-profit, or no, you started as a cooperative?
We started as a not-for-profit cooperative.
Okay, and now you've made a switch You're no longer a cooperative.
No longer a cooperative.
What was the impetus behind that?
Well, I tell you, the only reason that we made that switch, nothing else changed except for the name. You got an extra C now, but we just never really functioned as a cooperative.
Yeah.
We had the members then, but we never paid back into the members. That was never part of the process. Nobody ever signed up thinking that was going to be the case. So when we were set up, we were actually just set up as that 501c12, and that's really wasn't what we were, how we should have been set up or how we functioned.
Yeah.
So we wanted to make things right. And we went through the IRS process of actually having that retro dated and going back. So it's all official now. We're now a 501c4 not-for-profit corporation.
Well, in the IRS, they've got so many, 501s from 1 to bajillion almost. So there's a difference between being not-for-profit, nonprofit, and not-for-profit. And of course, the C4s are not-for-profits, which means you can generate revenue.
We can.
You just have a threshold there. But I think that's great. I think it's exciting for Mid-Atlantic. And every time I turn around, there's something new. There's a new announcement or a new project, and you are a critical element in the cog of economic development. And as I work with Altavista to go forward in economic development, you're becoming more and more of a significant partner there. I wanted to ask about, you're the how do the providers get to you? Do they seek you out? But do you ever have any pushback from the providers? Are they threatened by, and I'm thinking, I'm a Comcast or Chantel or I don't know if we have Cox Communication in Virginia, but do you ever get pushback from those providers? Do they understand you?
Maybe initially, no. They kind of raise their eyebrows a little bit and go, "What do you mean you're not for profit?" And I can still gain access to your network and I can still reach potential customers. But I think once they understand it, they realize that we are the middle mile guys. If there's nothing else that we want folks to realize is that Mid-Atlantic Broadband is in the middle mile function. We build out that infrastructure.
Right.
And we actually turn around and utilize our infrastructure connected with some of these other providers in the region
and it
to
saves
provide
them
that
money.
It saves them a ton of money.
Because they don't have to build the infrastructure.
Absolutely.
And and they pay you a fee for that usage?
A small fee. Yes, a small fee. They'll actually basically we'll hand them off circuits.
Do they ever try to shut out their competitors?
Of course, competition is competition can be tough, but we're actually we level off on competition just because we offer same pricing across the board.
Okay.
So if we have somebody that comes in, we're going to move into Altavista in some area, some capacity, and they need a 10 meg circuit. Well, every provider that's up under us, that's a customer of ours, knows what our flat rate pricing is.
Okay.
So any little markup that they do, they've got to be able to justify that to the customer with some type of service attached to it, because they know that the next customer in line may or may not have that same price increase on there.
So what's the future look like for Mid-Atlantic?
I think it looks very bright, to be quite honest with you. You've got the cellular 4G LTE process that's going on now. So we have numerous towers that are going to be going up all across the region to provide that. And with that comes work for us. Like I said, that'll be a lot of backhaul transport for us and carrying in all those carriers, Verizon and US Cellular and Alltel and T-Mobile and all these other folks, Sprint as well. So you've got that's going on. You've also got, all the schools are now connected. We just finished up a grant last year, about 117 schools that we were connected. So with those schools now, that pushes us over the 300 mark now. So we actually have over 300 on-net buildings, which with a region for 1,600 miles of fiber, it's kind of hard to compare to anything else. So we're staying busy. We're still chomping. We want to stay busy. We want to do as much as we can, helping you guys out and being brought to the table whenever possible.
Okay, so one last question. So you've laid out over 1,600 miles of fiber. Are you ever going to have to update that or upgrade it or add more fiber?
There may become a time when we may have to build some more spaces out.
Okay.
Like I said, but on the actual backbone, you're looking at 188 count fiber minimum. It's going to take a very long time to eat into all of that.
Yeah, okay.
So hopefully the backbone is good to go for quite some time.
Great.
Then, of course, there may be some smaller other laterals that we may need to overbuild.
Yeah.
But as of right now, we don't have anywhere that's being tapped out. Like I said, and we also have long hauls in place too, because it's great for that regional network. But remember, that regional network is just that. I mean, it's basically an island without those long hauls.
Yeah.
So we take all that traffic that we get and our customers provide us across the region. We take that to the major peering points on the East Coast, which for us is between Atlanta and Ashburn.
Okay.
But no build outs are going to be needed quite yet.
Good. Well, Jeremy, I really appreciate you coming to Altavista this morning.
Thank you for the invite.
And joining me on the radio station. And once again, Jeremy Satterfield with Mid-Atlantic Broadband. Is there anything you want the metro area to know?
Just be on the lookout for us. Like I said, if there's any questions that you may have with us, feel free to get in touch with me. I'm sure you should be able to track me down. And you can also go online and look at our website. It's just been revamped, and we're still working on it, but it's www.mbc-va.com. That will also have all of my contact information on there. And check us out.
I know that you've got an office in South Boston and one in Richmond. I think you need one in Altavista.
Sounds
kind of
good.
in between point. Can we start working on that?
We can start working on that now, Megan.
Once again, Jeremy Satterfield with Mid-Atlantic Broadband. Broadband is the critical element, as I said, in the cog of economic development, and we're thrilled to have you as a partner and look forward to continuing to work with you. I've got just a few announcements for everybody this morning. I hope you had a good time last night at the Altavista Chambers TGI Friday event. Appreciate the Chamber for all the hard work that they do. The Altavista Chamber has a membership luncheon on July 24th at noon at the train station. So feel free to attend that luncheon. Just call the Chamber at 369-6665. Of course, they have, they're making plans for their Business Expo. You know, you want to come out to the Business Expo to learn more about the businesses that call Altavista home, and to learn about the businesses who do business in Altavista. Sometimes we think, there's a Business Expo. It's the same businesses that I go to every day. But there are businesses who do business in Altavista that aren't physically located in Altavista, and you can meet those businesses as well. So put it on your calendar, August 15th from 2 to 7, it will be the expo, and then from 5 to 7 will be food samplings, and that'll be held at the Altavista YMCA. That's the Business Expo. If you're a business, you want to get signed up to participate in that, and if you're not a business, you want to attend that. It'll be a great event. Also, the Altavista Chamber is getting ready for their annual golf tournament. It'll be Friday, August 23rd. At the Altavista Country Club. Sponsorships are available. Just visit the Altavista Chamber of Commerce website online, and you can get all the details on that. As additional updates, the Altavista On Track will have a cruise-in on Saturday, July 6th from 5 to 8:30. So go on down to Main Street and enjoy that. You know, those cars are amazing. I know very little about cars. If it's shiny and makes a loud noise, it has a horn, I'm excited about it. But I can't tell you the difference between a Chevy and a Ford, although I can identify a Mustang. But they get some really fantastic cars. And thanks, AOT, for all the hard work you do, and the businesses for staying open for the cruise-in and taking advantage of those extra customers. Wanted to say congratulations to Katy Country for winning awards at the Virginia Association of Broadcasters Awards Banquet recently. Our very own Katy Country was awarded first place in Outstanding Sports Coverage and runner-up in Best Morning Show for the large market. We're so proud of Katy Country, and next year we want to win for the Best Business Show. So that's our goal. Everybody, I'm Megan Lucas with the Town of Altavista, the Economic Development Director. If you have comments or questions about anything you've heard on today's show, just give me a buzz at Town Hall. That number is 369-5001. Or you can send me an email at malucas@altavistavA.gov. I'd love to hear from you, and reach out and let me know you've heard the show. Have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll see you next Saturday.
Have you looked at your business banking fees lately? I'm Sean Stone with First National Bank, and we have the best business accounts which offer serious savings for your company. We have a full menu of business products from checking accounts and remote deposit capture to online banking. And we have a local merchant card representative who will customize services just for your business. So let First National Bank prepare an analysis of your current activity and show how we will reduce your banking fees. First National Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
With so many changes in taxes, healthcare, more legislation, and bureaucracy,
you need someone in the media to keep you ahead of Big Brother and Big Government.
That's why Herman Cain is on your radio.
Big Government is not our friend.
Herman Cain still speaks for you and for America.
Our founding fathers did their job. We must be the defending fathers, because life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness will not mean a thing if we do not protect those ideals.
Herman Cain knows the inner workings of American business, the economy, government, politics, the Fed, and the IRS.
Real life experiences from business, politics, and life.
Now you'll hear him every day, coast to coast on your radio.
Listen to Herman Cain every weekday morning from 9 to noon on News Talk 1000.
News Talk 1000, WKDE, serving Bedford, Campbell, and Pittsylvania counties.